What's going on, y'all? It's Keaton7 with Team JVS. I'm with the squad here. We're going to be doing a non-spoiler review of House of the Dragon. How y'all feeling, guys?
Excitement, pure excitement.
Excitement.
I hate this show. They didn't do what the books did.
Wait, there's books for Game of Thrones?
Let the games begin.
All right. So
Team Black, obviously.
all right. Jedi Mike,
I understood that
do
reference.
you have an opinion?
I have an opinion. I'm going Team Black all the way.
Okay. All right. How'd you feel about these Sam, is this episode just episode 1, or are we doing both of them?
We're just doing non-spoiler discussion on episodes 1 and 2.
Episodes 1 and 2. All right, episodes 1 and 2. So this is non-spoiler. So y'all ain't gonna have HBO after us because of this. So first things first, we'll go around the room. I'll just ask what y'all's thoughts were on these 2 episodes, how you felt about it. Ronan, what's going on?
Hey, man. Glad to be back talking dragons and houses. This show is fucked up, and I keep forgetting how fucked up it is. But it's good. It's that weird thing where it's like, wow, this is disturbing and probably wrong to keep watching, but I can't stop watching. I need to know what happens with these folks. These characters are so interesting, and yet I'm like, wow, someone is writing this stuff, and cool, man. I mean, this is go deep into imagination. But you sense the war that was teased last season, just the water boiling hotter and hotter more than ever, and how at this point all bets are off. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's divisions of loyalty of people who came into the season of whose house and which house and whatnot. So I'm intrigued, and it's back. We're back.
We back. I like that. Busy.
So the one thing I really like about this, I really like. The main thing was just Team Green, Team Black. Who do you choose? And I feel like a majority of the people were going after one specific side. So I feel like with this, just like any other episode is doing, they really highlight like no side is innocent. And I feel like the excitement from that alone, just knowing that like yeah, we have 2 different sides, but we have different people on each side that believe in different things and go about things differently. And it just makes it just gives you so many possibilities when it comes to just where the story can go. Right. And where allegiances might lie due to some of these people's actions. So it's just pure excitement, just right off the rip, because like there are some people that just aren't in the right headspace, and then there are some people that are just trying to get into the action. So it's just it's great. It's crazy.
Yeah. Jedi Mike.
Yeah, I was ready for this season. This is actually the first Game of Thrones show that I'm now starting with my wife, who I got her through all binging of Game of Thrones, and then I got her through House of Dragons, and we're watching at the same time, so we're real time caught up to speed. And now, as a book reader, and now watching as a fan, I am happy to see the moments that I've read now being depicted in a way that I didn't expect how far they're going to go. And again, now all cuffs are off and everything. This is the meat that we've been talking about for Game of Thrones that has solidified their name in television history, and they will continue on, especially with the episodes that we saw, with holding that reigning title. But yes,
yeah. Hey, I wish your wife nothing but luck. That's a rough show to binge. Believe me, I've been there. Thoughts and prayers.
I got the recordings
for the wife. Hey, y'all remember watching me watch Game of Thrones? Those are the dog days. All right, Sam.
Yeah, for me, you guys. Oh, that's not me. That's you.
They all look alike. Wow.
Man, this show is brutal. I can't say what Ronan said, but off of the first episode, man, you guys are gonna feel it. And I think that there's absolutely a boiling pot that's happening. I loved how with this season so far, they've built upon what they've set for the foundation. Because if you think back to the first season, it was so much that happened. Like we watched these characters literally grow up. And now it's to this point where anything can kind of happen, and the factions are just so strained. But you're also allowing new characters to come in, new situations to come in, that's kind of progressing the story in a very vivid way. But the thing that I think that is the highlight of this is I love the cinematography and some of the shots in this. Like they've ramped up not just the budget, but the capability of where they can take this show. So I think that they're doing a really good job with it, and I'm really impressed by what I've seen for the first 2 episodes so far.
Yeah, and yeah, I also agree. I definitely feel like they upped the they upped the production, even though I felt like the first season was phenomenal. I looking at some of the set pieces and looking at the cinematography, looking at even the special effects, I can tell that first season made HBO some money because they definitely put some oomph on it. And yeah, I agree. The show is brutal. I was thinking that it was gonna be a slow burn, but it was not. They hit the ground running, and all it's on. It's on this that they pick up right where they left off, and it's one of those things where I'm really wondering like how long they're gonna take this show, because the way it feels, it feels like at any given moment it could all go down. Episode 3, episode 4, like that's how it feels. And so seeing how all of this progresses, I'm really interested. I'm really interested in it. One thing that I also really like is season 1 set up all of these strong personalities, and then they ended season 1 with an absolute shock, right? And I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on how you felt, because now we see such a shift between, I mean, even just Rhaenyra going from being everything we know about her to losing a son. And so I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on how do you feel about how seeing these characters in a different light all of a sudden, because they're different. I feel like they're different people between how the first season ended and how this season began. I'll start with you, Busy.
All right. I feel like that's a little bit of a loaded question. I don't know. I mean, are we specifically talking about like from the finale to where we are now?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm trying to. I don't want to give out too much, but I mean, obviously, like heads are spinning. I want to start off with just what they were doing in the finale and kind of how that's kind of continued into with how they were looking for allies. Like that's not a spoiler. I don't know why I thought it was a spoiler, but like they were looking for allies. So leading into this, we kind of see how everything is still fresh. Everything is just as if it just happened. Like not really a lot of time went by. It's just everything's just new. So it's just kind of interesting to see how everyone not only coped with what happened, but how they were trying to approach other characters who we know are a little more sensitive to what's going on. And I feel like they handled it really well. There's one person who doesn't have many lines, but absolutely butchers every scene they're in. And again, it's really hard not to say. I don't know what I mean. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. You can't say much.
That's fair. That's fair. Non spoilers can be difficult. They really can. So all right, I'll rephrase. I'll let me change this question.
No. That's probably just me. I think Mike got a better answer than I do.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
No, I think the way you phrased it is that every decision and choice that these characters make is understandable, relatable, and I will honestly say real, even in the world that of Game of Thrones. And we're in the context of these family members having family feuds, obviously to extreme, to extreme stance and everything. But the choices that they make, the decisions and that they're put into, the times and moments where they don't have to process the events that just happened to them, maybe just seconds or moments ago, and then making irrational decisions. And also people making irrational decisions on their behalf too, and what those consequences lead to. Those things I feel add to complexity of all this, and even to the point of, well, you might have a side, you're rooting for, you understand from the opposite opposing side, whatever stance you take is like, I understand why they did that. It's just a domino effect, right? And I felt like it's also giving you kind of sense of grace and understanding for some of these characters, even though regardless whether these people are actually good people or good, decent people, whatever. Some of them are just put in the positions they're in because that's all they know. That's all they grew up in, whatever. And some of them in positions of power are displaying signs of hypocrisy in moments like that, and putting their in denial sense on other people and stuff, and their insecurities onto other people, projecting. And those things, we see that every day now, but now we're seeing this in the world of this mystical world of Game of Thrones. And I feel, again, shout out to your podcast, Bad Therapy. There's a lot of things that definitely can break down in terms of just the family dynamics of these people, but more importantly, the choices that they make while they're going through these traumatic experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, I'll ask you, as far as the shift between last season into this season.
Yeah, I mean, if you just take it in just like these two quote unquote sisters, like this Allison and Rhaenyra in their relationship, right? How they started, like they were torn because of the circumstances around them. To we get a huge time jump, then it becomes more of a power struggle, then it becomes an inheritance, then it becomes an inadequacy complex, then it becomes blood for blood. Then they are basically interbreeding now. And now it's a whole different level, because now if you think about Allison and you think about Rhaenyra, you cannot recognize either one of them. If we think back to even the second half of the season, the first season, neither one of those characters are the same. I have a level of fear and respect for Rhaenyra that I never had before. And then when I look at Allison, she is very cunning and smart still, but there are certain things about her and things that have kind of messed her up on a mental and emotional level that have brought her to where she said, kind of like what alluding what Mike said. So if you take from just those characters alone, everything around them is the same exact way. Even Daemon is a very effectively different character this season than he was. And Aemon wasn't even born in the beginning of the first season. Like, he's walked into something that, if you look at him now, like the fact that we could say that they're on the same level of Daemon and Aemon is crazy to think about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that's just a good thread of storytelling they've done. Initially, it was a knee-jerk kind of feeling for me the first season, that time jump. But I love how they progressed it and slow burned it here. We are allowed to really breathe and feel the consequences. Because the first season, I didn't like the fact that it was going so fast. I couldn't feel the consequences. I'm like, I'm getting hit. But now, like, first 2 episodes off rip, you feeling everything. So I love that. I'm a little, I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Ronan.
I agree with what the boys have been saying about where we meet him now to how we had grown up with these characters and the people portraying them in season 1. The thing that's shocking to me that now I've been honing in more, just the perception that the characters have, the world has around them now. Again, not spoiler stuff, but like Rhaenyra right now is in a state where, on a human level, people can understand how she is comprehending. Okay, she just lost a child, and now what does she do now when it comes to this big war? and how the rest of the world sees this big battle because Targaryens lost. Well, not the Targaryens they lost, but Rhaenyra and her side lost the throne, and they're in Dragonstone, if I'm not mistaken. That like they're banished, if you will, and they're trying to make their way back, but their leader is in a vulnerable state. And also, you piggyback with what happened to what's happening to her former best friend / sister, how she's trying to manage things from not being too chaotic. It's like, okay, we have the throne, now how do we keep it? Because we could instantly lose it like that. And at points, one of my favorite moments as being part of these viewings with you guys is that Sam was canonically trying to tell Alicent, I don't want to say what he was saying, but he was being this way to her, not being
Hey, I never said that.
No, he never said that. But
Sam
in
don't
a way,
cuss.
in a way that it's not about
Chickadee.
it's in a way that it's not about sight. It's about personal characteristics. It's like you, Alicent, the person, the lady. It wasn't like you fucking greenhouse. It wasn't that at all. So the fact that the perception of them is changing as the time is just passing on is very intriguing to me. And I don't know if we'll ever mention it, but I just want to give a huge shout out to the editing. There's a transition that we all were like, oh, that's neat. And I was like, Lawrence of Arabia. And I once we talk spoilers, I'll go back to this moment of editing and transition, how it flips not just visual but also tone. Once you've seen the episode, how that transition is like almost echoing what's going to happen without us knowing what was coming down the road. For those who had not read the books yet.
Yeah, and the thing that I recognize as far as the transition between 1 and 2. Season 1 was a lot of setup. We saw people growing up. We saw kids fighting, but everything has escalated from these very small things to now it's like everybody's picking sides, and it seems like there's going to be just an all-out war. That's how that first season ended, because I mean, we can talk about season 1 stuff at this point, but I mean, when that big dragon, when Vhagar did its thing at the end of that last episode, it was one of those things. I was like, well, ain't no coming back from this, and Aemon knew it. Everybody knew it right then. It's like, all right, now we can't come back from that. I know he was mad about losing his eye, but this retaliation is on another level. And the thing is, I feel like it's something we've all kind of been waiting for everything to hit the fan anyway, because let's be honest. Let's be honest, right? If your best friend that you grew up with suddenly was like, actually, I'm gonna get with your mom's, and you had a dragon just at your disposal, and you were in like high school, it would have gotten real with me a long time ago. Ray's way better than I will ever be. I'll be honest about that. But I just the size of this issue has just grown to be beyond reason. And I think they do a really good job, like Ronan said, setting, like, there's just such a shift and a tone change. I mean, it feels darker. Even though last season definitely got dark, this season feels just darker. It kind of gives me those same vibes of like Game of Thrones wasn't the same after the Red Wedding. Like, the Red Wedding happened, and Game of Thrones and everybody was just like, okay, wow, that's how it's gonna be. All right. And House of the Dragon, I feel like they just let you know right off the bat, oh nah, we playing for keeps. And
some
that's
of the
all I'm gonna
event.
say before HBO come and drag me off this.
No,
out
you're
my
right. Like
chair.
it's dark. I mean, all like I'm gonna finish it up by just saying like some of the choices they make, some of the things they did, stuff that I wasn't ready for, I wasn't prepared for. I still look back at it and I was kind of sick to my stomach. You know, it's just like they took a crazy step. You know, and it's gonna be really mixed on how people, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing that
Yeah.
I was gonna say. And honestly, I'm gonna kind of do what Busy doing. I'm gonna give you guys my final thoughts and my rating. But when this comes back, people may legit have
Yo,
a
Mike.
problem. People may have a problem.
Mike, chill.
So yeah.
And then what's weird is that episode 1 of House of Dragon season 1 had a similar thing where something was like, "Wow, HBO, this is new groundbreaking
That was
for HBO." Like it's like, in this one, it's almost reverse. Anyways,
Yes.
go ahead, Mike.
Mike.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Mike. You got. Go ahead.
And I'm
Listen,
glad
I
we
will
caught
say
it in
this, I will say this.
4K.
Just when you think that Game of Thrones can't cross the line, they cross the line in another way. But at the same time, it's HBO, but they also don't want to be canceled. But at the same time, it's Game of Thrones, and that's what we want. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a double-edged sword, right? You know, no pun intended.
I'm gonna
That's so messed up,
I'm
man.
gonna be
Like a
honest.
PR
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real.
I just
I really do think HBO is untouchable. I do.
Ooh.
Because there's like I'm not going like there we've
Wait
seen,
till
I mean,
another show season comes out.
those of you,
I know,
those
right?
of you that
Wow.
follow our channel, y'all know we've covered some pretty dark stuff. But like these days, between Amazon and HBO, they're going full on Vanta Black. Like, how dark can we get? And it's one of those things where we're just like, all right, I'm along for the ride. What's the next roller coaster we're getting on? But that being said, I cannot wait for the rest of the season. I absolutely love this show. I'm glad we're back. I love dragons, and I give it an A. I give it an A. Sam, what you thinking?
Yeah, man. It's an A. I can't give it an A+ because I'm still disturbed and I'm still recovering. And I think that's how everybody else is gonna feel. But I mean, it's masterful writing. Acting is amazing. Even the new characters, like they got characters from shows that I love. This is a really good step up. I think this might be a stronger opening than the first season, because the first season was kind of, to me, when it opened up, not to say it was lackluster, it was a slow burn that didn't make any sense because there was these subtle jumps. I'm glad that we've had a stride, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate that there's value with how these characters are evolving progressively. So for me, it's an A.
All right, Busy.
So I'm really excited for more. I think there's certain scenes that really carry certain episodes. Like there was a scene in episode 2 that probably got me the most emotional out of anything that we've seen in this this show specifically. But I'm gonna leave it at an A-. Yeah, I'm gonna put it at an A-.
A-. All right.
Yeah.
All right. You wanna plug your channel?
Oh yeah, sure. Busy Braun everywhere. Busy Reactions on Instagram, and you can find me doing reviews over here and reactions on Ronan's channel as well.
All right. Speaking of Ronan,
Oh baby. I cannot wait for the spoiler talks. But yes, I graded A. I think that even me saying that is kind of disturbing. I again, people have to know this, and it's the same thing when people say about Tarantino stuff, is that you're gonna watch a Tarantino movie, you're gonna watch a Game of Thrones show. At this point, do a little research and know what you're getting into. And once you do know, hold tight and put an extra seatbelt, because they might break new ground levels, or not even break ground level. Like Mike said, cross new lines. And Yeah, I A plus. I think the technical point of view, it's I. Anyways, sorry, good folks. The comment just like a kid, and I'm not ready for that. Technical side, shout outs to the crew. Not gonna dive deep, but the circumstances that this season was made, depending on where you perceive it, I just want to give a shout out to the crew who are the guys who make everything in that frame look awesome, minus Starbucks cups. But y'all knock out the ballpark, and pay attention, folks, to the acting where there's no dialogue, where you're just seeing everything and tells you everything you need to know. And you can find me at Ronan Unchained on YouTube, Twitter, socials, all that stuff. And best believe we got some reactions coming down the road. And I'm glad that half the crew that we saw these episodes with, half of them knew the books, half of them didn't. So you all going to be treated to some very cool dynamics.
All right. Jedi Mike.
Listen, like I said it before, I'll say it again. I'm Team Black, right? But I'll also say with the show, as someone who has read the books, also encourage reading, y'all. Read, pick up a novel, read a book. Go to your local Barnes and Nobles or anything like that. Go find a book, read.
Quite the inspiration.
You do kind of
Right, exactly. But I would just say this is that in terms of someone who has read the novel, also, I will say this too, is that don't be solely reliant on it, because they do take some changes and create liberties. And I think what we saw in the very few episodes we saw will not be the only changes we'll see from this season. And I think it's going to be very interesting in terms of what they do. And not only making changes going away from source material, but making it better. Even we seen the previous season, again, some of the big moments we saw when we read, the way they were acted, the way they were depicted were so different, but yet they add another emotional weight to it, which completely changed how I viewed when I first read it. So again, I commend them for the show for what they're doing. I feel like we're in good hands, and I think we're in store for something great. Now, depending on how long this series is going to go is another question and stuff, but only time will tell. But I guess, hey, the more the merrier. House of Dragons, another win. I'm gonna give probably A- only because I only see a few episodes and see the whole season. But
A-.
Yeah.
All right. And where can we find more of you?
You can find me on YouTube at Jedi Mike 7, and you can find me on Instagram at Jedi Mike 7 over here. Hit the notification bell, got interviews dropping and everything like that. See you next time.
Sam, I think I skipped over you. Where can we find you at? Look, I'm
Google.
just giving. I ain't gonna leave nobody out.
We're gonna go. Bye.
It's
Love
your
you
Maybe
guys.
we ain't gonna stop.
Bye.
Falling off the top of